the revival of humanity and brotherhood among us can bring about changes in the world. Through recognition of interdependence and also the concerted efforts. My Bengalis will endure suffering, but they will not die. In the challenge of survival, the will of my people will be my greatest strength. Now, this was the first speech a Bangla speech at United Nations in 1974 by the father of the nation of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who also liberated the 1,000 years enslaved Bengali, and he was also the greatest Bengali of all time. Now, in the process of concerted efforts, men seem to have taken all the front seats. No wonder it's called mankind and not womankind. But we are the builders of dream, regardless of our gender. In Bangladesh, we have Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina as the longest-serving eminent female leader and also an icon of the resurrection of women worldwide. It is an information by the WikiLeaks. And as a child, I always wanted to be the Prime Minister. Who didn't as a child, right? Assalamu alaikum and Namaste India. I am Alisha Pradhan. I founded HerNet Television, which is Asia's first TV on women's well-being in 2018. I work for the well-being of women, children, transgender, minority, autistic, and underprivileged community of Bangladesh. HerNet Television enables women to raise voices on issues that is ignored by mainstream media. We also aid the dynamic group of women and share their stories worldwide. And at HerNet, we break the glass ceiling by breaking away from the one-dimensional presentation of women, which was handicapped by man traditionally. And we also promote women from all over the world through our different kind of programs. Now, in my child, as I told, I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm a rebel in nature. So I was determined to live life in my own terms. By the time I was 16, two things had happened in my life. Number one, at the age of 16, I started working for my father's company to earn $22 as a salary. 22 seems to be my number. And at the same time, I also realized I had bigger dreams, and I needed to chase them. By the time I was working for my father, I realized that I was good at communication and negotiating skills. Soon, within a few months, I became the youngest industrial merchandiser in Bangladesh, earning $22,000 for every order. So from 22 to $22,000 is a journey we all aspire. But at 22, something else was happening. The dreams, the bigger ones, were actually pushing me away from my early success. And I wasn't sure if it was the lack of clarity or just the greed for a bigger dreams. I sort of let it go all. Yes, overnight at the age of 22, I became the dropout of a multi-successful career. And among the chaos, I think I was blinded with depression. But at the same time, though I was lost but not derailed, I left Bangladesh to chase bigger dreams and went to USA for study. Now, the idea to explore America and all the access to the free world sort of rejuvenated the indomitable spirit in me. I met amazing people of all spectrum. But being an adventurous person, I wasn't okay just studying. So I joined networking business, where I have brought amazing connection and also success. More $22,000. But at the same time, I also met people of different race and culture, and it sort of opened up my idea about humankind. Because the very American dream also was morphed with chaos, hurdles, and challenges. Now, as I was entering the exit of my American dream, I realized the people of America give me something very unique, the most precious gift of my life, which was nothing. Yes, and I was sure and I knew then everything that I didn't want. This is very important to know. And I got back to Bangladesh with that nothingness because there was a beauty in nothingness. Because in that journey, I came in terms with the Zen philosophy of living in the moment. Now, as I get back to Bangladesh in 2017, I was all determined to launch an UK-Indian-based app that would solve millions of problems by creating jobs. But that app also couldn't, take off. Now, imagine that non-glorious failure in Bangladesh again. My parents gave me an earful, and relatives were bragging and taunting about their daughters who were settled with a safe jobs or safe husbands. But I was unnerved, and I was already busy building my next dream, how to transform imagination into action. And what was I doing next? Okay, so as I was moving into that transition, it reminded me my 2015 experience, which was like a deja vu in motion. As I said, I left my industrial merchandising. I was actually moving towards a world, showbiz world, and I wanted to change Bangladeshi film industry. By the way, I was also a film actress and an investor. Speaking of negotiating skills, I sort of convinced my mother to invest in movies. But that also alienated my relationship with my father and my siblings. They wouldn't talk to me. But in that journey, I was learning acting, performance, dance, horse, scripting, film editing, whatnot. And in 2015, 3 of my movies got released. So those movies got released, and I also got so many debut awards. Appreciation from the audience and the critic was through the roof. Nonetheless, I decided to retire from that successful exposure. Now, why would I do that? Live such a successful, glamorous life? Let me quote Shakespeare. All that glitters weren't gold. See, film industry is run by syndicates, not the cool, witty syndicates we see in reservoirs, movies, or casino. In film industry, I wanted to have a safe forum for actresses where they can seek help when they were faced with mistreatment, which was prevalent during that time. Now, this syndicate got a wind of it. And I was so young to deal this unfair treatment by this morally corrupted, middle-aged or older man. It was like Dante's ninth hell. So my dream to represent Bangladeshi film at Cannes and Oscars didn't happen. And that's how my American dream seeds got planted. Now that I look back, all these experiences, failure and success, is now helping me run HerNet television on a budget that was otherwise impossible. I have already directed few TVCs, documentaries, executed more than 20 phenomenal events. We have been partnered with 1,000 events and with governments, with NGOs, individuals. We have also launched 40 original TV shows. In 2018, I launched Bangladeshi first transgender lifestyle-based show called In Between. In that program, we were promoting transgender into the mainstream media. Not only that, HerNet Television was the first TV we have hired transgender in different posts. We also launched a reality show to create more job opportunities for transgender. But the society was giving us resistance very strongly, and they were being very extreme and negative about that movement. But now, today, we are aiding in and paving the path for transgender, not just in Bangladesh, they are also making international headlines. Now, speaking of rejecting rejection, I remember in 2019, a very powerful woman told me that I wasn't fit to run HerNet TV. And she told me I wouldn't survive 6 months. It's been 3 years, and I'm standing right here, not her. I think it's in a DNA for Bangladeshi to be underestimated. It reminds me the horror of infamous Henry Kissinger and Nixon. They called Bangladesh the bottomless basket. And not just that, they would ignore the suffering of Bengalis in 1971, and that horror of the Cold War would rank as the darkest chapter, according to US author Gary J. Bass. And now look at today, where Bangladesh is standing tall as the fastest growing economy. And we are the role model for development, women champion, developing nation in building with the second largest RMG sector and also hosting 1 million refugees. And now, I think I would like to rephrase again the author of America, Gary Bass, that an apology from Henry Kissinger would provide the people of Bangladesh and all oppressed people worldwide with an inspiration. So that's just a personal note. Now, on the other note, as I talk about HerNet TV, we couldn't even perform 10% of our ideas because COVID happened, right? But even then, we didn't stop. It was HerNet TV who started providing aid and sharing the huddled stories of people in our country. On the first day of lockdown, we have launched Bangladeshi first lockdown webinar, United in Isolation, connecting leaders from more than 35 countries. Now, in the quest of keeping the world connected, I was victorious because that has inspired every Bangladeshi media, organization, or individual to follow the footprint. And now, after that, we have few more goals. And because of our role in COVID, we got 2 international awards, one from Bangladeshi president, inaugurated by the Prime Minister, and second from Nepal, by the President of Nepal. And as I unfold the journey of the domino impact in gender equality, let me just take a moment and tell you that I am a feminist and I love men. I think feminism got lost in translation. To me, being a feminist is a humanist who actually seek equal opportunities as a human in the society. We want to be judged by our intellect, by our merit, and content of heart, not for our gender. So now I would take a brief moment and share with you few of our goals. Yeah, as you can see, this is a show called Man of the Match. So we consider men not as a competitors, but our partners. We have different kind of shows where we appreciate men's role in organization and in families for empowering the women. So men are partners, right? The slogan is holding hands together. May I request all the men to hold the lady's hand who is sitting next to you? Yes, right? So I will now share 7 of our goals, the future goals for HerNet, and these 7 factors are aligned with the future goals for SDGs. Now, the number 1 goal that I have, education. Yes, we want to equip the daughters and the sisters of our country with quality education to make them face the world bravely. This initiative focuses on the aspect that is overlooked often. We want to provide opportunities to develop the skill and the talent of the teachers who are building the next generation. Number 2, justice served. Yes. It's research shows that women get less justice. More than 1 billion women are deprived of domestic violence rights when wronged. Now, we all are complaining. What about looking for a solution? So we have schemed a legal aid program where we will help providing justice to these victims and expedite the legal process, of course, we will need help from government and corporation. Number 3, job mining. I think job is a big issue in every country, be it developing, underdeveloped. And hence, this job initiative that we have will disrupt the job sector, and it would also orchestrate jobs for our customized needs. Number 4 goal, women's rights and religion. I think we have been living in a very misrepresented world where women's rights are wrongly portrayed through religion. It is time that we pronounce that. I think it is time to unite all religion, Islam, Hindu, Christian, Buddhism, under one campaign to portray the right way of how women's empowerment is shown in each religion. And I also think this program would foster the brotherhood among religion and also enable us to coexist peacefully together. Goal number 5. Victim and counseling shelters. These shelters in Bangladesh would have its own standard and method to heal trauma, to upgrade mindset, and also provide skill tools to women. Goal 6, empowering the youth, celebrating youth. We have different kind of programs. I would mention a few. Voice of Bengal, where we are empowering unsung young girls by reviving Bangla songs. Because I believe every generation must be connected with their cultural legacy and identity. And Bangladesh is also the only country that fought for language and died. In 1999, United Nations declared our Amor 21 February as International Mother Language Day for a reason. Then we have different kind of filmmaking campaign where we are allowing the youth to share their creativity and also their take on social imbalance. We have Youth Express Convocation where young children, parents and influencers comes together and explore their duties and job. I believe we live in the most interconnected era in history where children can easily get into identity crisis. So it is a responsibility for all of us to help our children to grow with patriotism, to grow with culture and a purpose in life to mitigate identity crisis. Now moving to goal number 7, the calling of Rohingya. According to United Nations Human Rights, the Myanmar military had long been engaged in brutally rape and ethnic cleansing of their Rohingya Muslims. Now that reminds me the terror of West Pakistani crackdown on East Pakistani civilians in 1971. And after 9 long months, we gained our victory. Just before 13 days, India has joined our hand in that fight because on the verge of losing Pakistani, launched a preemptive air attack on India. Now, from one dark chapter to another, at our Rohingya camp, thousands of children are being born every month, totaling almost 2 million Rohingya unofficially. And we have been sharing foods. It's been 5 years since the crisis. Our forests have been raised instead of planting trees so that we can make space for our Rohingya brothers and sisters. Our Prime Minister, I will quote my Prime Minister, it is because we were also a refugee. I remember in 1971, 10 million of people came to India, and India gave all their support. What is astoundingly amazing here, just within the liberation of 2 months, all the refugees were repatriated back to Bangladesh by Bangabandhu. Now that's true leadership, fulfilling the commitment to an ally and to its people. And we were not even a member of United Nations then. So needless to say, UN didn't have to play a part to facilitate that as an intermediary, which opportunity they got now today with Myanmar. Now that aspect of the history, the trauma of the children and the women at Rohingya, we want to archive for the future generation so they do not let that repeat again. When you harm one family, we endanger the whole world. Now, these are very few of the goals that we have, and such innovative ideas continues. In few months, we are also launching HerNet Laudes Award, where we will be recognizing leaders for their role in gender equality and in SDGs. And also, I'd like to take a moment, because there is a new research from our team. HerNet TV is not Asia's first, but world's first TV in women's well-being, world first TV on SDG. In 5 years, we would like to have subsidiary branch in more than 50 countries to represent women, children, transgender, or the underprivileged community globally. And I want to take a moment and say that nothing is impossible. You can ask J.K. Rowling, Cheryl Cooper, Alice, you can ask Mrs. Jobs, or maybe Adele. Women today, all of the women I would be mentioning, we need to take the center stage. We need to stop worrying, how do we look, how do you say, or how we are judged. It's time for us to be equally present at United Nations, at Economic Forum, at Cannes, at Oscars, at Parliament, at NASA's, or maybe we can create a center stage for us. By 2015, I am determined to launch HerNet Assembly with more than 100 leaders, international leaders, to only talk about gender equality, because post-COVID, the process of SDG has postponed by many, many years. So I believe this initiative would expedite the process, and we will make sure there is an equal gender presence. So these were my billion dreams. Imagine if an average girl like me can dream that big, then what are you all capable of? But there is also something we women mostly do, is that we underestimate our own potential. Now, promise me something, you won't do that. You won't let your children do that. I think it's about time we stop asking what others did for you, what the family did for you, what the government did for you. It's time to ask yourself, what have you done for yourself? As I end, I would like to quote one more time Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He said, I quote, "We will not move towards a world with hunger, with poverty, with unemployment, inequality, or fear of being completely destroyed by nuclear war. We look to a world where humanity is capable of great success, where humanity helps each other grow. And that's the world we are looking forward. And remember, every dream has a voice. The moment you unmute that dream, it can change the world and create domino effect. Now those voices, those screaming dreams, we want to find, flourish, and preserve. Thank you so much."